Good morning. Welcome to our Family Day Tai Chi program today. We'll be working on going through some Qigong and a little bit of Tai Chi and I Chuan work today as a bit of a supplement to our normal classes. So let's get ourselves started up while everybody's out shoveling snow. We'll get you limbered up so you can get out there and shovel snow too. So we'll settle the feet in the ground and we'll let the tongue to the roof of the mouth, let the head rise and fall. Again, inhale and rise. Exhale to settle. One more time, rising up and down. And looking from side to side. And we'll go ear to one shoulder and hang. And to the other. Again, to the first side. And the second. Let the head roll. Do some gentle half circles. And then keeping the jaw closed, we'll take the chin up and around. And then the other way. Okay, shoulders are going to come forward and up. And then back and down. And again. And one more time. And then we'll reverse. We'll come up the back, around and down in the front. And one more time. Into the arms, we'll cross, rise up, out to the sides and down. And then we'll reverse, we'll head the other way. And last time. And then we'll come up and over and stretch to one side. And same on the other. Again to the first side. And the second. And we're going to let the arms rise up over the head. We'll twist and let the arms settle. And twist to rise. And settle. And that's reverse. Let's head the other way. And one last time. And let those arms go nice and loose. Wrap around the body a bit. And let's do a stretch across with the shoulder. And same on the other side. And we're going to go over the head. Pull. And same on the other side. And then behind the back and pull. And same on the other arm. Okay, we've been working on the teacup exercise for our shoulder range. So palms face up, palms face up, palms face up, and palms face up. Good. And we'll loosen those arms up and let's head to the hips. So we'll roll the hips around one way. And we'll take the hips around the other way. One more time, the first way. And the second. Right, we'll continue working on the hip. So we'll set the heel down and we'll rock the toe in and out. And toe down and heel and out. And same on the other side. So heel down and toe in and out. And toe down and heel in and out. Working on balance and range of hip. So we're going to put our weight in one leg. We're going to turn in, come across, lift up, turn out and down. Last one. And same on the other side, in and out. And last one. And then we'll go from the outside to the inside. So turning out, lifting up, turning in and across. And same on the other side, out and in. Last one. And then we're going to go feet together. I'm going to warm up the knees. And then same the other way. One more time, the first way. And the second way. And then we're going to stretch down, hang down towards the ground. And then we can roll to come back up. Okay, let's settle the feet in the ground, shoulder width apart. And let's start with movement number 2 from the 20 Qigong, getting everything moving around. So we're going to spiral our palms out and away. We're going to expand through the ribs. We're going to lift up through the rib cage, nice deep breath in. And then we're going to settle our arms down in the front. So we're going to turn and open and rise. And then exhale and settle and sink. Each pass down, we're trying to kind of scan through the body, release the hips, the knees, the ankles, settle through the spine. And on the way up, we want to feel like those feet are supporting this motion. We're going right up, pressing the top of the head up towards the ceiling, lifting up through the ribs, and then release, settle, sink, and come back down. So again, we turn and open, lifting up nice and high, and we'll settle, come back down. Okay, let's work a little bit on calf strength and a bit of leg strength and balance as well. So this is where we're going to squat slightly, dip in with our legs, pick up in the front of the body, hollow fist, then we're going to open up the ribs and press up onto the balls of the feet. Then we're going to settle, hollow fist on the way down. And again, that feeling like before, resting everything into the ground. Slight hinge into the hips to pick up. Turn over, open up the ribs, pressing up to the ceiling, and then settling. So we're exhaling down. We're going to dip in. We're going to pick up. Turn over and press up high, rising up onto the balls of the feet. And then let that settle and come back down. We'll do 2 more this morning. So dip in, pick up, turn over, and press up nice and high. And then let that settle. And then 1 more time. Squatting in a little, picking up, hollow fist, pressing up to the ceiling, rising up onto the balls of the feet. And then we let it settle and come back down. Now we can shake it out a little bit. Okay, let's continue to work a little bit on putting some warmth in the legs on this frosty, snowy morning. We're going to go feet a little wider than shoulder width. And what we want to do is we want to lunge a little into one side, folding at the hip while opening and kind of pressing down into the ground with the other leg. We want to engage the lower abdomen so our tailbone sits nice and low. And we're just going to kind of shift that weight from side to side. And sometimes you can make the focus on kind of stretching and opening up the hip of the extended leg. Sometimes you can think about taking the load into the quads and into the glutes, but we don't want to feel like we are making the knee feel uncomfortable with this exercise. So if it's making the knee feel uncomfortable, you want to rise up a bit, don't want to press down as far, and watch for things like pushing that knee beyond the toe rather than kind of sitting down like you're trying to sit on a tall stool as you shift from side to side. So let's get our arms busy while we're doing this. We've been working on a piece from the I Ching system where we're reaching the hands out in front. And as we shift from one hip to the other, those arms come across. And then we draw in and we shift back through with the arms close, and then we're pushing back out. So we come across, we draw in, we shift across and press out. Let's do a couple more rotations in this direction. And then we'll go the other direction. So hands out, and now we draw in on the side we were reaching out on. Come through the center, extend out. We'll just do a couple more rotations this morning as we get these legs warmed up. And last one. All the way around. Good, and you can walk your legs in for now. And we'll shake that out a bit. Okay, let's work a little bit on getting some turning and twisting in the upper body to warm up that spine. All that moving and shoveling let's work on getting everything nice and loosened up and strengthened in the abdominal and lower back. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a bow and arrow posture. So we're going to come up in the front, going to go palm in one hand, fist in the other. We're going to twist through the trunk of the body until we're looking over the shoulder. The elbow is pressing back, fist on the hip, and the palm is pressing out in the front, and we look over the shoulder. Then we're going to release, come through center, exchange, other hand opens, other hand closes, and we look over the shoulder. So we're twisting from side to side. Exhale to come to center, and inhale to twist. That's it. You want to focus on keeping the knees over top of the toes. So we don't want to break down our legs. We want to keep those knees pointed in the same direction as the toes. And we'll do one more on each side. Good. And let's give that a bit of a break. And now we're going to head to a much deeper exercise for turning in the trunk and working on the strength of the legs. I joke about this one all the time in the winter, calling it the snow shoveler special. And seeing as there's so much snow to shovel out there, let's work on this today. So we're going to hinge our hips back and kind of squat in while touching on the knees with our palm and with our elbow. We're going to let one hand drop down towards the ground. We want to keep our tailbone a little lower than our shoulders for this. And then we're going to lift up through the rib cage to twist the trunk and reach the arm up. And then we're going to settle, exchange, and twist up to the other side. So we settle and exchange. And let that come down. I'm going to twist and reach. And settle. We're turning through the trunk. We're looking up towards the hand. That's our inhale. And then we're exhaling to come back down. And then we're changing to the other side. Let's just do one more on each side for this morning. Got to leave you some strength for getting out there to move the actual snow. And we'll settle. And then same on the other side. Good. And then chin to chest. We're going to roll our way back up. Good. We'll shake out those legs a little bit. Okay, let's keep working on some leg work and getting some fluidity in the spine and kind of meshing those together a little bit. So we're going to take a piece from the opening parts of the Tai Chi, Yang style Tai Chi sets, and we're going to shift our weight in one leg. And now this is tricky. You're going to pick up the toe, a heel, and roll on the ball of the foot while you crease into the hip, and then you're reaching out with the palm. So we're coming across, and one side, good, coming through, and to the other. And you're pivoting on the ball of the foot as the mass shifts from one leg to the other. So again, like the earlier exercise, we were closing one hip and opening the other, but now we're pivoting on the ball of the foot and we're adding this kind of twisting and reaching through the spine. And let's do 2 more on each side for this morning. Reach on one, come back, and then last one on either side. And then we'll come on up from there. Okay, continuing on, kind of moving and shifting and getting the body loosened up. Let's work on the idea of lifting one side of the rib cage up and sinking the opposite side of the rib cage down. So this is one we see from a set called 8 Pieces of Silk. So we're going to raise one arm up high, pressing up. We're going to press down towards the ground. And then we're going to change. We're going to lift up on the opposite side, push that up to the ceiling as we press down towards the ground. So we don't want to turn into a side bend. We're still keeping the head fairly upright with the top of the head reaching up towards the ceiling, but we're trying to open up a distance between the rib cage and the pelvis on one side. We're pressing foot down to the ground, palm to the sky. On the other side, we're pressing that rib cage down. So we're looking for some moving and some mobility in that rib cage. We'll do a couple more on each side. And then we'll do one last one on each side. Let's let that come back down. Okay, after days of moving around, lots of snow, we're going to be kind of tight in our shoulders and maybe our lower back and quads and hamstrings and stuff. So let's use a piece of movement from the 7-star boxing set that does openings and kind of stretches the upper back and shoulders while doing some hamstring stretching as well as some upper back and chest work. So we're going to start with the feet to around shoulder width, and we're going to cross our arms in the front. And then we're going to push the palms out and away in the front. So we're going to reach back like we're trying to clap our hands behind the back. And then we're going to scoop into fists. And then we're going to hollow the chest. And then we're going to pull open. Now we're going to reach to the backs of the legs, hook our hands behind, and then stretch down towards the floor. And then release those legs and roll back up from the ground. We're going to cross the wrists. We're going to press out in the front. Now we're going to do an arch. What I really want you to focus on is not shooting your hips forward and pinching your lower back, but putting your hands on your legs and shifting so your sternum, throat, and chin push up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to rest that down. We're going to reach out to the sides and down in the front. So we can do that again. So we're going to cross and open, reach back, scoop back, and come through in fists. We're going to cross and pull open again. So you're squeezing those shoulder blades together. And then we're going to relax and hollow the chest as we
Stretch down towards the floor, kind of hooking those hands in behind the legs to help with the stretch. Then you're going to roll up from the ground, cross your wrists, push out in the front. Reach for the backs of the legs and drop down through your collarbones and press that sternum up towards the sky. And then let that settle. We'll reach out wide and come down in the front. Let's go through that again. So 1, 2, we're going to press open. We're going to reach back and scoop into fists. And we're going to hollow the chest and pull open. Reach back behind the legs and stretch down towards the floor. And then we'll release that from the floor and roll up. Cross the wrists. Push out in the front. Reach to the backs of the legs. And sternum up to the ceiling. And back down. Reach out wide. Come up. And we're going to settle that back down. Let's do that sequence one last time this morning. So we go cross, open, reach back, scoop into fist, hollow the chest, pull open, reach to the backs of the legs, and stretch down. And we'll let go of the legs, roll up from the ground, cross the wrists, push out in the front. Reach for those backs of legs, drop down through the collarbone and arch up. And then let that settle. We'll reach out wide and come down towards the ground. Okay. Let's do a little bit of leg strengthening and balance work today. And we're going to take a piece again from the Yang style Tai Chi called Golden Rooster Stands on One Leg. And this is a great balance exercise. And really one of those things we need to work on a regular basis is maintaining balance. So what we're going to do is we're going to go heel down. We're going to roll our weight off the ball, the heel of the back foot onto the ball. We're going to drop down with the hand of the weight-bearing leg. We're going to pick up the knee and pierce out with the fingers of the opposite side. So we're going to settle the heel. We're going to shift the weight into the legs. We're going to release the one leg so we can lift up. So we're going to step down and raise up. Step down and through. And you can do this exercise with one toe lightly touching as well to kind of help with your balance. But ideally, we're trying to lift that knee up. And we're trying to get the knee, if we can, up above the belt line. So we're working on strength and stability in the body. So pressing into the ground on one side, lifting up on the other. If you want a little bit more detail here, we turn this foot out just slightly because that leads our shoulder and hip a little bit more forward, because one of the things that Golden Rooster is about is kind of clinching and kneeing. So we want to step and we want to come up. Let's just do a few more on each side. And last one for this morning. Good. And we'll shake that out a bit. Okay, getting some warmth in the legs, getting some movement in the body. Let's move to the system of Ichuan. And what we've been working on lately is the ocean wave techniques. So we're getting those arms kind of circulating around in different ways. So let's put that together for this morning. So we're going to go 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. And this exercise, what we do, we kind of pull in with the hands as we load up the back leg, and then we expand with the arms and roll around to surround with the arms while our weight moves to the front leg. So we draw in, and then we surround and come back out. So we're drawing in and down and surrounding. Let's do a couple more with this leg forward. And let's change legs. We're going to go other leg forward. So we're going draw in and circulate around. Draw in and circulate around. And you're trying to loosen up through the shoulders and upper back, getting that feeling of kind of a whipping motion almost. Done nice and slow, but there's pressing out of the legs, there's expanding, there's drawing in, there's rolling back, and then expanding again. Let's do 2 more on this side. Good. Okay. So now we're going to try and get right side, left side of brain, right side, left side of body, everything kind of working together. So we're going to separate those arms a little bit. So what's going to happen is when I'm shifting into the back leg, I'm going to be reaching with my front arm. When I'm shifting to my front leg, I'm going to be pulling in with the front arm and reaching out with the back. So as I move back, back arm pulls, front arm reaches. As I move forward, front arm pulls, back arm reaches. So now we've got this nice sort of almost like 2 circles that don't just kind of come down the center and reach out on the sides. Good. Let's try that with the other leg forward. So when you're moving backwards, front arm reaches. When you're moving forwards, back arm reaches. We're pulling in with one side and reaching out with the other. and we're transferring our mass from leg to leg. There's a lot going on in what visually looks fairly simple, but coordination-wise, there's a lot happening here. We'll just do another one. Good. Okay, speaking of coordination, we're going to make things a little harder. So we're going to stay with the ocean wave, and now we're going to get to the ocean wave punch, which is a type of hooking punch. Typically, a lot of these upper sort of palm out hooks, we talk about them kind of coming around the back of the head and hitting and things of that sort. So we're kind of hooking around. So now we've got to do openings and closings of the hands, as well as alternating the hands, as well as shifting the weight in the body. So what's going to happen is, as I roll back, I'm going to punch with my front arm, and my back hand is open. I'm going to open the front hand, I'm going to swing around, and just as I get to the end of my reach, I'm going to close into a fist. So I'm going to go fist with the lead arm, fist with the back arm, fist with the lead arm, fist with the back arm. Almost a couple more. Hard to get that opening and closing, that shifting of weight and timing into all of this motion. Okay, that's starting to feel a little comfortable, so maybe I'll make it hard and we'll switch it over to the other leg. So other leg is forward. So we're coming out of the back leg. We're throwing this spar-on kind of hook. Then we're parrying and slipping back and hooking with the other arm and parrying and hooking. So you can think of these as a bit of a slip drill. Boom, slip and hook, slip and hook, parry and hook, pull and hook. There's lots of different ways to work on this. We're looking for a nice flow from center that we push into the leg and that rolls out into the arm. We push into the legs, that rolls out into the arms. Good. A couple more. Nice. Okay, come on back up. Let's go back to our theme of today of we've been doing too much snow shoveling. And so we need to get that lower back and sciatica area stretched out a little bit. So let's work on a really nice but fairly deep stretching pattern. So please modify the best you can if it's too much. So we're going to really dive into the calf and lower back sciatica area. So what we're going to do is we're going to open our arms up. We're going to turn in with our right foot. We're going to lift up our left toe. We're going to place our left hand in the collarbone. We're going to squat in the right leg. And then we're going to reach in front of our back leg. So we're trying to just reach in that space in front of our back leg. Then we're going to come up from there. We're going to let that left hand drop. We're going to turn in to work on our hip mobility. We're going to lift up, right hand in collarbone, and left hand's going to reach towards the ground in front of the back foot. And then we're going to come up from there, drop the hands, turn in. Now this time we're going to twist a little more because this time we're going to try and touch the toe of the foot that's raised. And then we're going to come up. Arms come over as we turn in. Lift up the other toe and stretch down to try and touch that toe. Come up. We're going to do that one more time. So around, hand in the collarbone, and try to touch the toe that's lifted. And then we'll come up and touch the toe that is lifted. And we'll come up from the ground and feet face forward, and we'll let those hands settle back down. Okay, coming near the end of our class for this morning, so let's touch base with a little bit more Tai Chi. We're going to do a little bit more strengthening and range of motion work and balance work today, because we're going to do what's called kick with heel. So we're going to sink our weight into one leg. We're going to cross the arms. We're going to raise up the knee. And we're going to push out the heel and push out the palms. We'll settle through the knee, step wide, shift the weight, hands come down. Mass transfers into that leg, and the hands and knee come up. And we push out to the heel, and then in and down, shift, and pick up, and extend out. We won't do too many this morning. Working the balance, working the strength in the legs. So sometimes if we want to work on our kicking skills, going slow allows us to really work on the strength of the leg as opposed to just using momentum for our kicks. So transfer mass, catch it in the left foot, let it come up through the hip and out to the heel. Let's do two more for this morning. So we'll step down, lift up, and kick out. Last one for this morning. So we'll step through, pick up, and kick out. Okay, in our regular classes, we've been working on shoot the tiger. So let's spend the last couple minutes working on parts of this movement called shoot the tiger. So we're going to go back to near the beginning of the class when we were working on this exchange of weight from leg to leg. We were kind of turning and shifting from leg to leg, but now we're going to add some arm work to this. So this has got a couple of different hook punches. One is low with the palm down, and one is high with the palm out. And we got to coordinate these all together with these deflective kind of motions, these dropping elbows, these rotations. We're talking in the past about if someone's holding on to you, you can drive that elbow down to remove it. So we're going 1, 2. So let's just try this a couple of times. Up over the head, down with the elbow. Shift the weight, drop the elbow. Shift the weight, drop the elbow. Now we're going to go like this. We're going to shoot our way over here, and the hand of the leg that's straightening, it's going to punch low, and the leg that's bent is going to come up high. So we're going to make 3 motions. 1 hip exchange, 2 hip exchange. On the 3rd hip exchange, we're going to punch out. So we're going to go 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Let me turn my back here. We'll do a couple rotations together with my back turned. Sometimes that's easier to follow. So we'll go right arm, left weight, left arm, right weight. We're going to shift the weight to the left and punch. Right weight, left weighted, right weighted. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Couple more. 1, 2, 3. Last one. 1, 2, 3. And come on up. Okay, as usual, time flies by while we're working slow and getting everything moving. Hopefully that's either got you ready to go out there and deal with the snow, or it's helped you to ease off what it did to the body moving all that snow. All right, last thing we're gonna do is cool off a little bit so shoulders can go back, shoulders can go forward, arms can circle one way, arms can circle the other. We'll reach and lean to one side, and we'll reach and lean to the other. And then we finish with a bit of, it's called chi release, kind of balancing energy in the body, down and rooting to the ground. And we'll let that settle. Great. Thanks for training today. Happy Family Day. And we'll talk to you all very soon. Thanks for training.